Hey there, Adrienne Elise here. Welcome to the Gaia Daily for October 22nd through 25th. Wow, what a powerful week and astrology with that Aries full moon. We're just coming off of this energy now, but moving right into an exact square here today with Mars and Pluto. So our two power planets, Mars is our action planet, our will force, our moving energy, will and making things happen. And Pluto, our psychic power. And we have been disconnected from our psychic power, taught to fear our psychic power. And so with these two rulers of Scorpio, as we get ready for the sun is going to move into Scorpio tomorrow. This is very, very powerful energy. And Mars square Pluto is one of the most intense transits, and we'll feel that through the beginning of next week. And this is where we have Mars as the ruler of Aries, and that's about the fight for life and the fight for freedom and the fight for your rights and the fight to exist and thrive. And then, but in Libra, opposite of its home sign. And so Libra is fighting for peace, and it's fighting for justice, and it's fighting for harmony in the world we all want in this new renaissance. But in square to Pluto, it's representing false authority structures. This is speaking to what's happened throughout evolution, this Earth evolution, but particularly in the Piscean age, where the structures of religion got mistaken as the power of God itself. And through domination and control and programming, we all kind of played into this whole punishing God and the wrath and the energy of needing to repent and to go, tithe, and, you have to go through us to get. You have to go, so the energy of that structured religion, false authority is like, well, you have to go through us to get to God, right? And what this whole evolutionary time we're at right now, it's about humans. We have no other choice but to stand up and claim our spiritual autonomy, our autonomy as individual humans who have our own direct connection to God force. We are literally a fractal of God consciousness and the highest form of existence. So how do we claim that back? And that's everything, this astrology. So it's saying we need truth, we need justice, and we've got to break these contracts and take back our power. We live in a parasitic reality. And interesting that all of the health issues out there right now all go back to a simple issue along the lines of this parasitic reality where we have allowed energies outside of ourselves to feed on our own energy and our power. And this is being played out huge in the evidence that the simple anti-parasitic remedy, simple, safe anti-parasitic remedy is indicated for all of the health issues right now. And that is telling us something. So how do we stop feeding the monster? How do we cut off where we have allowed other forces outside of ourselves to tap into our precious God-given power? Well, first, we have to recognize we have access to it. So that's the first step. And then we have to break contractual arrangements where we bought into. So how did we get these contracts with false authority? We got it because this whole Pluto energy of because we thought we were told we couldn't handle our own power. It wasn't ours to have. It's very simple, and it's gotten us into an incredibly complicated mess. And how do we turn this world around? And so this is coming up everywhere for literally physically health in our body. How do we not play host to this parasitic energies energetically? How do we not play host? That seems to what comes up when I say that is where we put our attention. Attention is attraction, and we're just being constantly distracted from this God source light. And when we can put everything aside and really get quiet and listen within, you can feel this huge increase of energies on the planet. It's strange though, because for supernova souls, advanced souls, you're feeling this like, whoa, something is going on. Whoa. And of course, that something, the light coming in, is creating this rapid cleansing of the parasite vibration. And so by claiming our health and our physical body, that's one way we can do it. And then our attention, where we're putting our attention. And we're being asked, supernova souls, as leaders of the way, as here to lead the way in spiritual ascension, to put our attention on the light that's coming in, on these higher frequency vibrations, on the possibility of this new and beautiful world, and to be in the energy of that. Part of the reason that supernova souls have been so targeted and attacked over lifetimes is because we do have this intuitive power. And that means you've had lifetimes on Earth where you were already fully using your higher intuitive abilities. And in this life, you might not have any idea what that actually means or looks like. But you know there's something inside of you that has yet to be expressed, something bigger. And so now those who have the power to, in this empathic, intuitive knowing, it's a power of the higher chakras, but there's an energy of that. One of the ways you could describe this higher intuitive knowing that all supernovas have had experiences, if not on Earth and in other evolutions, of telepathic communication. And so to see in pictures, in some of the most ancient cultures, they still have this telepathic communication. And you can enter into this telepathic communication a lot of times when you're working with true spiritual teachers, not the false guru authority teachers, right? And this is what we're sorting out. In past lives, we've made contractual arrangements with those false authorities, and those can be hard to find. And guess what, though? They're showing up now so that you can claim back your power, and often that's in narcissist personal relationships. That is how often it's like, how do we break these authority contracts, false authority from like ancient times? Plays out in our personal relationships. So really interesting. But supernova souls, having had this prior experience, knowing how to see in pictures, even though you don't feel connected to this right now, makes you a powerful projector of reality. And our reality's been hijacked by the matrix to project what they want to project. And so no wonder our most intuitive souls have been most attacked. And I know a lot of us are feeling just really beaten down right now, even though we feel the light and the energies coming in. And I just want to validate that because, that's happening because you are on the front line. And we're really close. And there's a lot of support coming in to claim back our mind, our vibration, right? So when we talk about being a projector and a creator, how do we create? It's not through ideas and concepts. It's through vibration. So we've got to climb our way back up to that high vibrational energy. And yet it's so hard when you're continuing to be knocked down. But if you're feeling this way, it's because you're on the front line and the front line is getting attacked. And let that validate you. And that one by one, as we come back to our vitality, our vibrance, and our vibrational frequency, that's when we get the world we want to create. And so it's really powerful that this Mars square Pluto and all these squares with Pluto is bringing this right up to the surface because we can't go on this way anymore. This is what squares are. It's like you can't keep going that way. You got to make a change, and it's not just a little change. It's a 90-degree change or a 180-degree change, right? So we are being asked to make some changes in our life right now. It might be things we were thinking about 2 years ago. It's almost like we got sucked out of our timeline with this whole world situation and very strange energies of duplicity and our world not being what it seems, and the movie that's playing out. And now we're kind of landing back, we're having opportunity, and this is from pretty much from, through the last month or so through the end of the year, giving us this opportunity to claim back our optimal timeline, claim back our high vibrational frequency. And sometimes you have to get knocked all the way down before we can find the strength within to climb our way back up. But we're here together. And so part of the energy that's going on with these false authority structures, is that along with those, the only reason why you gave your power away was because you bought into some belief that you couldn't handle it. It wasn't yours to have. But why would you have it if it wasn't yours to have? And you've already worked with it. See, this is why supernova souls are playing such an important and crucial role right now, because human souls that have only been in this earth evolution, they don't have a soul memory of where they've been in their higher knowing, and so we are here to hold that, like put that flag down and hold that vibration. And it's not easy, but this is about completely stepping through to the bigger truth of who you are. And your life it's going to be totally worth it. It's going to be so amazing. And you get to take part in something that's just so beautiful and amazing. And so keep that in mind as you're going through this battle. And that if you're feeling attacked, it's because, I am that. And I bought into it. And I was naive and I trusted the wrong people, but no more. And maybe this is what we came to Earth to learn as our soul group. To learn and know and claim that there is no higher authority. So get the F out of the way, because we're coming home. It's our world now. So there's the beaten down energy, but then there's this incredible empowerment that's happening. And we're finishing up just the next couple of days. This empowerment energy can come from Mercury, now direct, but still in that opposition with Chiron. And the Chiron in Aries, the wounded healer. Now, I talk a lot about Chiron as the wounded healer, being like our deepest wounds. And Chiron speaks specifically to these types of souls, to supernova souls, because it speaks to a pattern over lifetimes in this evolution that's played out. So wherever your Chiron placement is in your birth chart, that will speak to these deep wounds. But I'll tell you what, Chiron has a higher octave energy of superpowers and magical healing abilities. So when the wounds of those energies, and the wounds in Aries is about where we've given our life force away, where we've rolled over and played dead, where we gave away our vibrancy, where we trusted others with our own power and life force and world and reality. And so then when that wound is healed, there's a massive power that comes. This is a magical healing ability, where that wounded healer now has like a magic wand to be able to help all other souls that come their way with the same energies and same issues. So that's really powerful, and we're feeling it because Mercury's now direct. It takes a few days for Mercury to really get going, but as it gets going, it comes right into its third and final inconjunct relationship with Uranus, and this is a total key piece to this whole puzzle. That happens on Monday exact. And so we'll be feeling this opposition with Chiron for the next couple of days, and then moving into this, we're already feeling this inconjunct. We've been feeling it the whole time. So Mercury was inconjunct Uranus, came into the opposition with Chiron, and then back as it turns direct back into this inconjunct. Now, inconjunct is a minor transit, but it's this really important piece of the puzzle, because Uranus and Taurus, Uranus is revolution, change, higher vibrational frequency, technology, connection to our higher self, our ancient wisdom, and our future self. And so as a ruler of Aquarius, And it's speaking to how are we going to get into this Aquarian age? It's in Taurus. And Taurus is about wealth and worth. And we have gotten so messed up in this world with wealth and worth. You know? I mean, you can't take that shit with you. And there's these people that we have been taught to worship and idolize. And in fact, in our communities, you'll find this. It's like, oh, that person, you know, and they have this business and they have lots of money. And so, you know, we respect them. But what if all that went away? And they've just been pushing papers around and don't necessarily have any wealth on the inside. And supernova souls, you're abundant in this wealth. Everything could crash and nobody can touch this wealth inside of it. You have what everybody needs. That's why they've been knocking you down to feed on you. That's why they've been using our power to create this bullshit reality and no more. Right? And that was this Aries full moon. It was like, oh, that righteous anger rising to the surface, giving us the strength. I've talked about how in the organism, when the organism is in disease, and it will kind of, a lot of times the life force will get weaker as, you know, chronic disease goes further and further, or terminal illness. But there's a point where within the body takes that surge of power and that last fight. And this is where we are on the earth. And this massive tidal wave of energy, of righteousness and vitality. And it's just like nothing can stand against this power. And that's raises the frequency to a point where all of this dark distortion and all of the energies that are associated with that manipulative agenda that's gone on for thousands of years to keep us from our spiritual evolution, they just have to leave the planet. Right? Because then the organism is vibrating at a frequency where you can't play host any longer. And that's ultimately, we know that, right? Like we know that we want to vibrate at a higher frequency so that we're not susceptible to the attack. But it's so hard, supernova souls. And I just hear you and I feel you, just this feeling like, okay, I'm going to stand up, but then feeling like you're knocked right back down again. But everything that's happening right now is showing us everything that's left over, all the nitty gritty that has been in the way of us truly claiming our true power. We don't know exactly what this is necessarily, but isn't it time for us to take back our world? And as we come together more, and it's happening, we grow our energy and grow our frequency. And our work right now is to constantly validate and as much as we can bring our energy into the possibility, into the miracles that are coming, into this healing balm that's being released into our world right now, and be in that place. And it's hard because often supernova souls right now, you're surrounded by people that are just don't get you, don't see it this way. They don't feel what's going on. And it's a constant invalidation. And it gets to the point where it's like, feels like you can't even say anything because they're going to just call you crazy, make fun of you. Their cognitive dissonance is just off the charts. And so we kind of got to go, okay, you know, attention attraction. I'm not putting my energy in there anymore. I'm going to put it here, and I'm going to seek out those people that can vibrate here with me. Because when two or more, you know, as we come together with our permission and help each other grow this vibrational frequency, that's what we need to do. We need to be like, okay, I may have been beaten down and feel really discouraged and all alone and invalidated, but what if that actually validates the power of who you are and why you're here? Your destiny is landing home. So anyway, back to this Mercury inconjunct Uranus. Uranus is in Taurus is a revolution. It's a revolution of wealth. It's a revolution of self-worth, saying like, yeah, stack up all the money and cars, but it's not going to get you anywhere, right? It's kind of like where we've been taught to worship the almighty dollar, but what we really need is just good food and fresh water and clean air. That's the wealth of the world. Health is wealth. and our intuitive knowing as well, and all these beautiful gifts inside of you that you have not yet been able to express because this world has not been able to receive you. And now the tables are turning. And so but then we have come back to this thing of like, yeah, but can somebody just show me a sign that I'm on the right track? And I'm just so worried I'm going to miss something, or what am I? And we're running around trying to frantically figuring out while we're not seeing the light reaching down, God reaching down His hand into our life. So it's a really intense time in that way. But we're being asked to take this leap of faith. If we're here to lead the way, we've got to believe. We've got to be in this energy of hope. We've got to claim that ideal timeline and know. It's interesting because that knowing, the energy of that, is exactly in alignment with these inner gifts and the destiny that you thought you had, that everybody around you just thought you were silly or egotistical or, Yes, you have a huge role to play and you're actually doing it. So can we be in that energy and take that leap of faith and be in that hope and that knowing, and be in that unconditional love? So when we're waiting for the outside sign and validation, that's conditional reality. And we're here working in unconditional love. So hopefully that can help as we navigate these times. But that Mercury, it now direct in Libra, saying we want peace, we want justice, it's time to move forward on these things. And Uranus is like, okay, what if there is a new financial system that rewards good people right around the corner? What if there is a jubilee energy of forgiveness of debts? And what if there is all these new systems that are being put in place behind the scenes that we can plug into and just like feel like we really can finally help and do what we're here to do? But then this Uranus and Taurus is like, but do you deserve it? Are you worthy of it? Can you own it? And it's like that high priestess that's been so beaten down, the divine feminine, and she's begging for crumbs, not realizing that she's got the light of the world right inside of her. And then how do you go from being down in the dirty alley of the, down in the swamp and the dungeon into taking your rightful place on the throne? Your temple, your God light, your destiny, your truth. We've got to own it. And it's a big leap of faith, but we're doing it together. So hang in there. It's such a powerful time. You don't want to miss a moment of this. So be present as much as you can. It's almost like a constant affirmation of the light within and without. And I'm right here. I walk in the light shows me exactly what I need. It'll come right, the messages right in my face, and the right action and the way forward as we navigate these times. So just be in that constant vigilance and this constant prayer for to walk in the light of truth. And the biggest problem inside of you is this feeling like you have something bigger to do and you don't know what it is, and you don't feel maybe worthy of it, and you're waiting for outside validation. And this is this place we're in. It's like we got to get over the waters. We've got to get through the wilderness. We've got to make that leap. And maybe that's going to these darkest places of where we've been knocked down again and again and healing that. So the Aries energy with that full moon and Chiron opposite Mercury is a really great opportunity for inner child work and soothing and healing. So supernova souls, most of us feel like we are so sensitive and don't fit in here. And it's like we were dropped off by our parents at the orphanage and maybe we're on the wrong planet. I mean, even though Earth itself is so beautiful, but the humanity resistance to awakening, so in our slap in the face type feeling. And so there's a feeling like that you're not actually cared for here on a spiritual level, even if your needs were met physically or emotionally, which also often didn't happen. But it's really about a spiritual needs and being received as a spiritual being that you are. You're so much more than what you've been allowed to play out. And we got to claim this right now. It's like there's a crack in the code and a crack in the matrix, and we've got to just hold hands and step through together. And own the wealth that nobody can take from you. Your wealth you've worked for over many lifetimes and evolutions. You did not build it from moving paper in bank accounts around. And so own it. You got it. You got what everyone wants. And maybe that's why you got so beaten down. But can you say to your inner child, we're going to take care of you now. Okay? Hey, baby. You're going to be cared for now. You're going to be cared for. Can you as your adult self tell that inner child that feels so lost and alone here that now it's time for you to be cared for? And that seems to be the first step in claiming and owning our abundance and our wealth and getting on with the exciting things that lie ahead through this transition, where you really get to use your skills and you really get to be received and you really get to be supported and honored for who you are. But first we have to do that for ourselves. And it's really hard when you feel like a lost, alone, abandoned child. So comfort yourself and tell that inner child that now we're going to take care of you. And what do you need to do? What actions can you take in your daily life to demonstrate and affirm and confirm that now that this beautiful cosmic being child is now going to be cared for and nurtured and supported? It's okay. We're going to take care of you now. So it's like we've got to do that before the host of support of the angelic realm and the higher, our highest self and all the highest spiritual wisdom of the universe can work in our lives and support us. And this is this Uranus and Taurus, right? It's like, oh, you're abundant and you got everything that everybody wants. Have you noticed how people either want to knock you down and feed on you, or they want to lift you up and so that then they can later knock you down, or, it's like they just want to get some of your juice. No wonder you've had to be so boundaried up, And then messages that if you do come into your light and power, you'll be targeted. You'll be, they're coming from you. Who are they? I don't know, but there's a visceral feeling as we activate into our potential that we're going to get in trouble for it, and these are the contracts, going back to what we started with. These are the authority contracts that are keeping us from our full potential, and they're being revealed in your daily life. And that's a beautiful thing. It's not fun, but it's a beautiful thing, because thank God you can find them and be like, not playing. You know why? Because I'm putting my attention on this finally. Go ahead and invalidate it all you want. I'm going to go find my people and vibrate there. And so it comes back to that internal validation and stopping the feeding, stopping, no longer playing host, cleaning up our body, cleaning up our life, cleaning up our psyche. And this is happening naturally, So some of the tension and intensity people are feeling right now is a resistance to this cleansing process, because it's really radical. And it feels like you're just being crushed down into powder of nothing, which you are. Because it's like in this world of that old paradigm, you have been nothing. But you're nothing because you're everything. And can we step into the everything now and start to celebrate and enjoy our own abundance? But it's a big shift from being rejected, unreceived, and cast aside, persecuted, burned at the stake, whatever we've dealt with in our past lives. So it's like that that fight for life and that surge of energy, and we got to ride that wave and find that power within to stand up for the final battle and put on our armor of light and stand strong there with our brothers and sisters. We are doing it. We've done it. We've already won. And now we're cleaning up. And just let it all fall away. Let yourself be nothing. Let everything that was a contrived existence in order to maintain life in this lower paradigm, you don't need it anymore. It's like we're taking off those old ill-fitting clothes and putting on our garment of light. So really powerful energies with the sun moving into Scorpio. This is opening the door to disclosures of deep, dark truths, and also individually and collectively. And so that happens on Saturday. We're going to start to feel Venus in square to Neptune, and that's exact next week. And that will lead us into November. And that beginning of November is a very, very powerful time. So we want to really be aware of what's happening for us. It's this revealing of the dark so we can get to the light. Venus square Neptune is about this, that cast aside feminine, claiming her place in spiritual service and her place in the sun, her sun, perhaps. And releasing all, it's like this Venus square Neptune is going to bring up, I think, some energies around where we feel like, where we've beaten ourselves down for trusting the wrong people and being manipulated. And then anger, there's a lot of anger, right? Coming up around, like, how dare you, can't believe this has been allowed. Once you come to the truth of how we have been manipulated, how we have been deceived, how we have been targeted, it's like, how dare you do this to this precious gift of God light here, offering in full service, right? But it's like we've got to work through those emotions of beating ourselves up and our repentance for not being able to be on our path, and anger at those that have wronged us, but getting to that place of forgiveness so that we can climb back onto, bring that divine feminine in all of us back into her rightful place. And the true kings and queens, the true stars rise again. And that's you, supernova. And so really powerful there. We're facing all delusions that have kept the feminine down in the gutter and bring her back into her palace. So of this higher knowing and this peace and this intuitive, that it just really speaks to that self-validation. Like, this world isn't going to validate you. The new world is going to. But we're leading the way. We've got to make that shift. And that's this inconjunct with Uranus and Taurus, with Mercury. Because inconjunct is across the way and one sign over. And that is an adjustment that needs to be made. So the adjustment that needs to be made for us to get rolling on this whole thing is finally valuing the worth that's inside of us and uncovering the wealth, the true wealth that we have. And so powerful astrology, it just continues. And as we move into those early days of November, wow, we've got quite a storm with the sun in square to Saturn. So the sun in Scorpio, square Saturn in Aquarius. Saturn is about how do we build in these new energies in the new world? How do we get out from the old programs of where our world has been, where our evolution's been stolen from us? And the sun in Scorpio is like, yeah, I'm ready. Scorpio is not scared of the dark. Scorpio is willing to go to those places because more than anything, Scorpio wants authenticity and real life. And we've been pretending at living because we've got all this dark, dirty secrets, right? So that square Saturn is like, all right, you want to build in the new? Want to get going? Saturn's direct now. Time to move into the Aquarian age for real, like it looks like the changes we see in our world, you better face that darkness. And so we're all having to go there within ourselves and the collective. And it's all the leftover stuff we haven't resolved. And it's like the nitty gritty, but it's cleaning out. Are you ready to be completely free? Can you step away from all of these dynamics that have held you down for so long? Support is coming, light is coming, togetherness is coming. It's right around the corner. So stick with me and stick with your, that love you have for this inner child. Just validate those feelings of feeling abandoned and left alone. And how could this happen to me? And so that we can stand up in that righteous truth and claim back our potential and our power for the projection of our world, our way. And it's a way better world, and it's going to be glorious. So be in that energy as much as you can, even though we're going through it. Now Mercury so it's that Sun square Saturn is exact on the 31st, quite a powerful Halloween. And then Mercury will come out of shadow on the 3rd. And right when that's when it has its third and final square with Pluto. So the squares with Pluto will like let come off after that. And we've had weeks and weeks of squares with Pluto, of coming up against those false authorities and coming up against these control energies, the tyranny. We're seeing it very clearly in our world. It's being demonstrated because we're in the time of revelation. So this is the demonstration of the evidence, right? And these energies of control started back in Atlantean time. And so it's really important that we have this revelation, but it's also the revelation, it's a revelation of the dark, but the revelation of the light as well. And we got to claim that and run with it. So that's powerful. Mercury out of shadow, last final square with Pluto. It's like basically the last 2 months of this energy completing. And at the same time, Venus will be on the galactic center. So she's claiming back her destiny in Sagittarius. And we have a really sweet trine with Mercury, the third and final trine with Jupiter at 22 degrees. And speaking of lifting us up into the new Renaissance, and maybe this is it, like, oh, wow, I'm just going to be real with this. I'm going to face the darkness. Because I will walk in the light. And then that hand reaching down and, in that presence of the moment and saying, hey, come on over here with us. Let's be here. We're going to establish something new and beautiful and different. And together we'll descend that heaven on earth. And so that's that invitation to lightness and levity and joy, despite everything that's going on, claiming that vibrational frequency so we can claim our new age, our optimal timeline. And thank you, supernova souls. If you could look down on this lifetime and see the power, the effect of the work you've done while you've just been getting through, you're playing such an important role, and it will not go unnoticed. So hang in there. We're doing it. We're here together. Let's step through, break on through to the other side together. So have a wonderful weekend, and I look forward to seeing you soon. Until then, I'm Adrienne Elise. Namaste.